When does a sole proprietor need an EIN? The Internal Revenue Service assigns a Federal Employer Identification Number, EIN, a 9-digit number, to businesses for tax filing and reporting purposes. Think of the EIN as a company's Social Security number because the IRS uses it to identify the taxpayer. Keep in mind that most sole proprietors don't need to obtain an EIN and can use their Social Security numbers instead. Even so, you may want to obtain an EIN anyway. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the awesome Sweet Kiwi Show. I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or a mud cup and let's roll. Today, I want to talk to you about the specific instance where a sole proprietor needs an EIN. Now, when EIN is required for sole proprietors, if you are a sole proprietor, you must have an EIN to hire employees, to have a KIOG or solo 401k retirement plan, to buy or inherit an existing business that you operate as a sole proprietorship, to incorporate or form a partnership or limited liability company, or file for bankruptcy. So it is very important. Now, the thing here is that what is a sole proprietor? A sole proprietor just means that you have some skills and you are working on your own. You are not incorporated as a company. You know, if your name is John Doe, you are working as John Doe. You're not working as John Doe Incorporated or working as John Doe LLC. You are working as John Doe. Your name in real life and your name in the professional life are linked. Your professional life with your personal life are linked. Your assets and liabilities are also the assets and liabilities of the company, right? So you must have an EIN to hire employees. Why? Because the IRS wants to make sure that you are paying your company, the sole proprietorship is paying employment taxes on behalf of those employees. For example, FICA, Medicare, and Social Security. If you want to have a solo 401k retirement plan, you need to. If you want to buy or inherit an existing business that you operate as a sole proprietorship, you have to. All right. Now, remember that in some cases, banks will require you to have an EIN before they'll set up a bank account for your business. The banks wants to make sure that you are separating your private banking, your private bank account from your business account. So they will require you to have an EIN. Now, for the bank, it's also better because they would rather, let's say, for instance, they grant you a loan, for example, and you're not paying. It's better for them to go after the asset of the business than go after the asset after your personal assets. So they would want to deal with the corporation, if you will, with the legal entity rather than as a personal. Now, you will not be required to obtain a new EIN if the following statements are true. Now, remember that tax laws keep changing all the time, so the information we have here was accurate as of the date of this show, the release of this show. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whatever changes occur in the tax law. You always want to go to the IRS website to get the latest info, and the website is www.irs.gov. So you don't need to obtain a new EIN if you change the name of your business. If you change the name of your business, you are not going to require an EIN. If you change your location or add other locations, you don't need a new EIN. If you operate multiple businesses, you don't need EIN. In other words, if you have one EIN already, you can apply that EIN to multiple businesses. You don't have to get an EIN for each business. All right. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are doing fantastic. I hope you are doing marvelous here. I'm continuing the conversation here around when does a sole proprietor need an EIN? If you love the content you've been hearing so far, I would really recommend that you subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell, because we drop this kind of gems every single day. Rain or shine, we cover a variety of topics. And today I want you to also comment below and share and like this content so that more people may be aware of the conversation. Now, how to obtain an EIN. Now, obtaining an EIN is easy and free. Don't listen to anybody telling you to pay for an EIN application. It's free. All you got to do is just go to the IRS website. So the IRS has an online, what they call EIN assistant tool that you can use. So if you tap irs.gov and you search for EIN, you will see the assistant. Now, if you're not comfortable sending information via the internet, because some people are not, you can download IRS form SS4. The form is SS4, application for employer identification number, and you can send it by mail to the IRS. Now, alternatively, you can receive your EIN by calling the IRS at 1-800-829-4933 from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. local time, Pacific time for Alaska and Hawaii. Now, how long does it take to apply for and receive an EIN online? Applying online should take less than 15 minutes, according to the IRS. So that's from start to finish. Now, taxpayers and authorized third-party designees will receive an EIN immediately upon completion of the application. Now, a lot of people ask, will I receive a confirmation letter or notice containing your EIN? If you are the taxpayer / the authorized individual, you can opt to receive a confirmation letter either online or by mail. Remember that the IRS is trying to put everything on the internet now, so they would rather communicate with you via email. So whatever format you choose, it will serve as your official IRS records. If you opt to receive your letter online, you will not receive it by mail. Now, the IRS strongly recommends that you print the letter for your permanent records, or if you do not have access to a printer, then you save it for a later printing. If you opt to receive your letter by mail, for example, you want to allow up to 4 weeks for delivery. Again, that's according to the IRS. Now, when will you get your EIN? You will get your EIN immediately upon completing the application. If you use the EIN assistant, if you do the application on the internet, you get your EIN immediately upon completion of the application. However, if you are an unauthorized third party completing this application for someone else, although the IRS will issue the EIN immediately, it will only disclose the number in writing to the addressee. Now, when would you be able to use your EIN? Now, the EIN, the employer identification number, is your permanent number, and you can use it immediately for most of your business needs. And this includes opening a bank account, a business bank account, of course. You can apply for business licenses, because a lot of states will ask for that. You can file a tax return by mail. However, it will take up to 2 weeks before your EIN becomes part of the IRS's permanent records. So you must wait until this occurs before you can, for example, file an electronic return. You can make an electronic payment, or you can pass an IRS taxpayer identification number matching program. All of which are important if you want to communicate effectively with the IRS in the long run. Because again, as I said, they're trying to transpose all their processes onto the internet. So if you want to, once you have the EIN, if you want to send them paper mail, that's fine. But if you want to do things electronically, then you have to wait 2 weeks. All right, I'll be right back right after this. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are doing fantastic. You are doing excellent. I'm still here having a conversation around when does a sole proprietor need an EIN. Number 3, why you should add an EIN even if it's not required. Why should you get an EIN even if it's not required? Now, you can obtain an EIN even if it's not required, or use your social security number. Now, here are 2 good reasons to use an EIN instead of your social security number. Number 1, you can avoid identity thefts. Folks, we live in a world right now where the internet has asserted its primacy over everything, and identity theft is just like so rampant. So you want to avoid that. And the best way to avoid this is by using less of your private data and more of, I would say, a borrowed data, like a borrowed piece of data. And an EIN is in essence a borrowed piece of data because it's the government that gives it to you. So theft of taxpayers' identities has become a rampant problem. So identity thieves steal taxpayers' social security numbers and use them to file fraudulent tax returns and obtain tax refunds. Therefore, it's just wise to keep your personal social security number as private as possible. If you perform personal services as an independent contractor, you must provide an EIN or a social security number to your clients, or the clients will be required to withhold 28% of your payments. So if you obtain an EIN, you're able to avoid having to provide your social security number to clients and other members of the public. So that's just fantastic. Remember, if your identity is stolen, the person with your credit card, with your social security number, can open a credit card account under your name, but they cannot open a credit card account under your EIN. They need a social security number. So if you use that, if you use an EIN, you are limiting the risk of identity theft. You can also help establish yourself as an independent contractor. You can get that status if you have an EIN, because using an EIN on your tax returns and payments also help to show that you are an independent business person. In other words, an independent contractor and not an employee. Remember, this can make you more attractive to prospective clients, right? Because they're seeing some kind of professionalism in the way you present yourself, in the way you operate. So they think they think that you are organized, you have some kind of organization, and this can be very good in the long run. All right, folks. So this is today's conversation, a very quick show about when does a sole proprietor need an EIN. I spoke to you today about when an EIN is required for sole proprietors, how to obtain an EIN, and why you should seek an EIN even if it's not required. I will talk to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.